everybody, it's Brian back with the VIP Soundcheck, and I'm honored to have Sam Riddle with me today. And Sam, thank you so much for joining me.
It's my pleasure, man. Good to meet you.
Absolutely, good to meet you. And you are actually in the Vegas area, correct?
Yes, I am. I've had a home here for a while, and I'm from Montana, though.
Okay. That's a
Yeah,
little
but
bit of a
yeah.
change going from Montana to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But I saw a lot of life along the way. So, Vegas. When I first got here, it was a little, intimidating, but that went away real quick.
Sure. Now,
Yeah.
what was it that brought you out to the Vegas area?
Uh, Piano. I was
Okay.
Yeah, so I was in the middle of chasing my dreams in basketball, and I was, playing professionally, and this guy saw me play the piano, and to make a long story short, I ended up in Vegas just to check out what he was talking about, and my dad always told me the easiest money I'd ever make was playing the piano, and I never really I never really understood what he meant until I came down here and just within a week, I was like playing 7 nights a week. I couldn't believe it, and I just couldn't believe they were paying me to play the piano. I thought it was crazy.
Now,
So that's kind of what got me here, and then that just kind of changed my whole life. And I figured I'd be down here for a couple weeks and act like Ocean's 11 for a minute and then go back home. But it changed everything. So that's how I got here.
sure. Now, when did you start playing piano? Have you been doing that since you were a little kid, or?
It's my first memories in life were banging on the piano,
Okay.
So it was just kind of something that was in me. I come from, my dad's side of the family was very musical, and once they saw like that I had a little thing for the piano, he just kind of made sure that he put me in opportunities to kind of hone that in. I never really got any like real lessons, but they could see that I had a thing. So whenever we had company, back when people had company, you remember that?
When people were actually
uh
together?
yeah, I mean, I would always have to sit at the piano while we had company, and I hated it. But he was like, I was like, Dad, why I always gotta play the piano? And he's like, because you can. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh well, So I mean, it was just something I always did, and I just never thought, it would be my life. But it was the catalyst, to getting me to where I'm at. So
sure. So thank God he
yeah,
pushed you in that direction, said, no, get down there and play it.
yeah, it was so funny. Yeah, he's great.
Now, because you primarily do country music, so that's not something
Yeah,
that you normally associate with Las Vegas. So how did
right.
you develop a love for country?
Well, I mean, obviously, I was playing the piano down here, and I was like, man, I guess I'm doing music now, but I knew I didn't want to just be sitting in a three-piece suit playing Sinatra songs all night for the rest of my life. I didn't want to do that. And I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I have to figure out who I am and what I'm gonna do. And it was just natural. I wanted to write songs, I wanted to write things that I knew to tell stories and I wanted to write about things I knew, represent my family. It just kind of all came to me. I knew nobody was playing the piano like me in country.
Mhm.
I knew that country music was, in my view, it wasn't like this at the time, but I saw country music as a vehicle to, inhabit all of my influences. And
Okay.
I knew that because I felt like anything I did, no matter what it was going to be country because it was me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of was like, I'm gonna do this. And there was no country scene in Vegas. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I built the whole country scene here. So before me, it was maybe at like one spot and it was very boring. But I knew that I was gonna put on a show. I knew it was gonna be a rock show with, you know, the blues and hip hop and all kinds of stuff influenced, but it was going to be very country,
Okay.
because it was me. And it was so authentic and so much energy and so entertaining that was the thing I had from the very beginning. And I took a lot of notes watching my dad and all the great entertainers that I've always, studied and were influenced by. I knew what I was going to do, and because I knew Vegas so well, because of playing 7 nights a week for 4 years straight, just living down there, and it was like I knew Vegas. I knew how to use Vegas, and not let it kind of use me and
Sure.
succumb to all the crap that you can get involved in. I never did that. I used Vegas as a gym, really.
Okay.
A lot of people, Vegas is their Super Bowl. For me, it was just a gym for me to work what my idea out. And I was going to wait for the right, I didn't care how long it took. I knew it was going to be very different and something that was going to be special. But I knew also being in Vegas that I would be able to make a living while honing it in. I didn't have to go to Nashville and sleep on a cot and get a job. I've never had a real job in my life. You know, I mean, I was playing, it's either been basketball or piano, so I wasn't trying to do that, or go to LA and pay to play and all this kind of crap. I mean, I had this built-in stages, built-in audiences from all over the world, sound guys, and lights and big showrooms. Like from the moment I started, it was just
Yeah.
like I just thought it was a genius idea, and I didn't take into account that the ones that are making it, even though they wish they were in the showroom like me, they're sitting in their bedroom singing covers into a phone. I didn't, it just made no sense to me,
Yeah.
So I wanted to just I had this blessing of learning Vegas. And so I just, I built the country scene. I'm the one that took it to the hotels and I took it to all these venues around and it became a thing, and now it's, obviously, it's pretty much taken over now. And, so, again, Vegas was a great place for me to just hone it in and use it for like I said,
Sure.
If it come down, it's hard to handle. If it's come down, it's hard to handle. Just a taste is all that I had. You got the goods and I got it bad.
It's interesting that you talk about taking that country and kind of merging it with, Vegas is known as putting on a show. Like you can't go to
Yeah,
Vegas and just have an acoustic guitar. And I
right.
saw with some of your live performances online, I mean, you really bring the energy. Like you love having, you can tell you kind of come alive on stage.
Yes, I do. It's a completely different. I mean, it's still me, but it's like a different human. But a lot of that's the one thing that I wouldn't say I regret it because I was kind of it was strategic the whole time. But there's nothing online right now except for like a couple of highlight films or something that represents what I've been doing.
Right.
Because I was fortunate enough to like be able to kind of hone this whole thing in under underground, you know.
Okay.
And some of the only stuff that's up there, I mean, geez, I look at some clips I'll find on YouTube of me in some show and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm hammered in that one, like or like, just all the because you're playing 200-300 nights a year for years. And it's
Yeah.
just like, but I didn't make it a point of holding a phone while I was doing my thing
Right.
or doing the social media thing. I wanted before I really went out there, I had a vision of how I wanted to, be and I wanted it honed in first, you know. So that was really the biggest thing is when I look back at all that stuff, I mean, yeah, the live performance is the thing that got me where I'm at. And
Nice.
all along the way, I've just been trying to figure out how can I because when I'm on stage, I'm me. My brand, everything I'm about is shown.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out all along how to translate that to recording music.
Okay.
And that has been the biggest thing. And, I finally got to a point where it's just, I, I can just be me. I'm not doing an impression of somebody. I'm like it's completely me, and I'm telling my stories, and I've honed in on the muscle of songwriting and on all the things. So it's the live thing though is the thing that got me there for
Sure.
sure.
Now,
Yeah.
have you found that the medium of music videos has helped you kind of cross that bridge a little bit, like bringing the show to your music?
Um, not yet, but that's always been the goal.
Okay.
The videos is something I've always had in my mind. But like along the way, like I said, as fortunate as I was to make a great living in Vegas, I've also been, I treat every night like a game. So it's like my whole thing was that, but along the way, still trying to do these little things like record something, make a video. So everything's been close, or like the dude who was helping me make the video like was like, yeah, oh yeah, I see, I know what you're saying. And then it comes out and I can't be there the whole time for the editing and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff because I'm playing every dang night, you
Yeah.
know. So like it comes out and I go, that's
It's
all
not
right.
exactly what was in your head.
Nah, man, it's okay. I mean, he had a 4K camera, we good. So like it's just been like that. So, but I do believe that video, social media, all that stuff, I just I've just been really excited to use it uh, the way I really want to, like the vision that I have, and I do think it's a beautiful thing. The people that really crush it though are the people that don't care as much as me. You know, they're like, I don't care if it's ready. You
Right.
know,
They're just
I'm just
getting it
gonna
out there.
yeah, and that's a very good skill to have is to be willing to suck. You know,
Yeah.
and I've always been like that when it comes to the scale of anything. Like I'm always willing to suck if there's a vision I have and I'm
Right.
trying to be great at something. However, the social media and all that kind of stuff was something that I was like, so I wanted to be a certain way,
Sure.
and I went through a phase where like, what would Prince do? Prince ain't Prince ain't taking a selfie, I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
That's just stupid, it's so funny the things. Yeah.
She's a freedom fighter, an up all nighter, a neon lighter. She's a survivor, gonna keep on raising hell. Cause if she don't, then the devil wins. She's going back in, first responding, helping and doing whatever it is she can. Looking like the city of sin, from the outside looking in. You thought that we'd stay down, but you were wrong.
No, it makes sense. It's
Yeah.
interesting that, I kind of going back to what you were saying about not taking selfies, not putting a ton of your live performances out there.
Right.
I think there's something to be said with giving just a little taste, but
Mhm.
still holding something back. And it
100%.
reminded me of friends of mine. They're called the Harp Twins. They're twin sisters that play harps, but they play like Metallica on harps.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, they're so good,
They're
man.
really
Yeah.
good. Super amazing girls too.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I think I met them once.
yeah, they
Yeah.
go all around the country, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they at their live shows they always say, hey, we don't mind if you take pictures, but please don't take video. And
Mm,
they explained it's not that we don't want it out there, but we want to give people a reason to come to the show and meet us and
yes.
experience us live. So we kind of want
Yes.
to keep that. And it wasn't even a paywall because it was a free show. It was like we want to bring them in. So I think there's something
Right.
to that.
Yes, definitely. I've always kind of been under the mindset that, a little bit of mystique is great. You want to get people to come see you. And if everything's online, why would anybody buy a ticket? Like
Right.
really. But especially at this point in my life, I mean, obviously the bigger things get. I mean, I love the fact that, one of my favorite bands of all time is the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
And, it's like every performance they've ever had, ever, is online.
Yeah.
And it's like that doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody still wants to go see it.
Yeah.
So, I've been getting to that point, but I've been fortunate finally to find and put together an amazing team. Like I finally have a team of people. I've been doing everything myself forever.
Yeah.
And So, having a team of like-minded, beautiful people that understand the vision and can help me get that going is just put me in a place right now that I finally feel like, I can put everything out there on to the world.
Sure. And I can imagine it's got to be tough to kind of give up that a little bit of that control, a little bit of it's I
Yeah,
don't want to say like a humbling thing, but it's like, okay, that's your baby. So it's like to let
right,
somebody else take a part of it, that's got to be kind of tough.
right. Well, see, the thing with me though is that I got to a point very quickly where I couldn't handle everything myself.
Yeah.
I got to the kind of the ceiling in Vegas like quick.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, I need help. And I was giving away my baby a lot to people that had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I had to redo stuff over and over and over again because I really was like, look, I get you need a team. I come from a team environment. I might be the leader, I might be the point guard, but I need people to pass the ball to.
Yep.
So it was just and to really win a championship, you got to have people that know their role and do their role great.
Yeah.
And I just always knew I needed that. So it wasn't hard for me to give it away, but it's been very hard to weed through the snakes and you know just kind of figure out this whole crazy business that people really don't know what's going down.
Yeah.
It's not like the movies. You're not getting off the bus and washing dishes and singing a note and somebody gives you a record contract. It's like
You don't
it
have
just
the
ain't
limo
like
waiting outside for you,
that.
ready to take you.
I mean, I might now. And being in Vegas, I've definitely had perks, but it ain't like that, man.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, man. And just the journey of it is really what I've realized is the goal. I mean, as much as we all have a place we're trying to get, the point of it is the trip there.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Now, one of the interesting things with you being in Vegas, and I've never been to Vegas, but my cousin actually lives there. He
Oh
used
yeah.
to be a cameraman for the Blue Man Group at their show there.
Okay.
And so, I've heard good things and bad things about Vegas. And of course, Vegas, as you know, has kind of a probably an unfair, notorious spin. It's called Sin City. It's
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and you kind of touched on it that it can be easy to maybe fall into some of the traps. And, you with your family, how do you avoid what I'll call the dark side of Sin City?
Well, look, man, it's been around, and I think honestly, first thing that comes to mind is my sports background.
Okay.
It's just no matter what, even if you have rock star nights where there's no sleep and there's all kinds of stuff going on. It has been instilled in me since I was a kid that you still get up, you still go to the gym, you still eat good, you show up on time. It doesn't matter if you're hurting or you're sick. You do the show 100 miles an hour. It's just that get up every day and go. And I think is the thing that has kept me, where I'm at and given me the success I've had. Even with I have two little girls. And yeah, that's a big sacrifice. Especially by myself. But it's the kind of thing where whatever I do, I'm doing my all in that moment, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm still getting up. That's the thing. You get up and you keep going, no matter if you're like, man, is this gonna happen? Like, you know, I know I'm in my purpose because God's never dropped me,
Right.
you know. Yeah, it's like I've always had what I needed. Um, and there's these little glimpses of like, see, I told you now, just stick with it now, but I might have to put you through some more crap. So here you
Yep.
go. And the blessing of getting through one storm is another storm. So it's just like I just kind of just the positivity, the work ethic, the just the machine that has been put in me through sports has kept me even through the toughest of times and through the craziest life things that could happen to you in a place like Vegas.
Sure.
It's kept me going. So, I just, I remember we did this. Musicians are crazy, and I like, it's so funny because, I got so many brothers and so much family in this music world, but, I come from, basketball players, and we're doing this. We did this show. We're going to this after party. We have to do this after party. We're doing it for free, but we got to do it, you know? And I had this drummer once. She's like, "Oh man, my back, bro, my back." I'm like, "Your back?" Like, first of all, like, suck it up. I can't believe you're saying this to me. What do you think I'm doing? I'm jumping
Yeah.
all. I'm so. I've been at radio. I'm doing radio. I'm doing this. I'm so tired, bro. Like, you hear me complain. It's just that you can't have that mentality.
Yeah.
You have to use your words, be positive. Like, this is what we do.
Yep.
I'm a superhero. I got a responsibility. Like, this is what we're here for.
Yep.
Your back hurts. My back always hurts.
Go take an aspirin. Let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's little stuff like that. People, you just can't get weak. Even if you have some fun, you're indulging in things that come at you in life. You just have to have the wherewithal to be stronger than that.
Yeah.
And just know don't let anything take you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love what you mentioned about, being in your purpose and God's path for you. And I've always felt that's like no matter how tough it gets, he never lets you down. And it's like to
Yeah.
me, there is no option to fail. You just do
Mhm.
what the only option is you do what you gotta do. And he'll
Exactly.
get you through it.
Yeah. And if you have something, you have a fire in you for something, if you quit, that's on you.
Exactly.
It's easy. It's easy to go to do something else. Like that's why this ain't for everybody, you
Yep.
know? So, but everybody has greatness in them. It's just a matter of whether they listen to their family and friends and neighbors and taking advice from everybody and doing the safe thing. I mean, I don't know. We could talk about that all day.
Absolutely. And you,
Yeah.
you mentioned having two little girls, and that was one of the cool things I found. I can't remember if it was TikTok or Instagram. You put out a
Mhm.
video, and a paraphrase, you said, "This is the coolest sound in the world." You came home and your two little girls were squealing for you. And I thought that was really
Oh
cool.
man. Yeah, they're everything to me. And it's just like, especially having two little girls, like I'm so glad I had girls because it's just different. If I had a little boy, I'd probably be like, pissed if he wasn't doing sit-ups at like 6 months, come on, baby, I can this way I just can it's just so much love and it's just like, you know, it gives you another added thing to life to keep going, like
Sure.
to keep rolling and just that but it also takes you away from yourself. One of the biggest lessons I've had. I mean, when I first started this, my only thing was I'm gonna be the greatest of all time. That's it. I'm gonna be great. That's it. And that's a great thing to get you going.
Sure.
But you ain't gonna do anything worth a dang if you don't realize that it's not about you.
Right.
It's about everybody else and what you're giving. And one of the beautiful things is no matter what I got going in my head, when I have my girls, it's nothing but service,
Yeah.
And yes, like selfishly, I'm like, I got the most beautiful girls. I'm the crushing it. Look at me, I put them in a good situation. I'm like, I'm super dad, all this kind of stuff but like you're being of service and getting out of your own way and doing things for them all the time. It gives you that thing that can get you out of your way. So
Absolutely.
well, it's just a huge, huge thing. I mean, having two is a lot. And but just God bless everybody out there that's still chasing something
Yeah.
and doing it, you know, like that, with and also doing this. It's just really, really a crazy grind,
Yeah.
but a beautiful and worth it. And yeah, man.
And it's amazing how your priorities and your idea of what's truly successful maybe doesn't change outright, but kind of
Mm.
merges together into something that you never would have seen coming.
Right. And it also, I mean, it enhances it too. It
Hmm.
pushes it even more. It's like I never thought I'd be like, oh, I gotta do this so my kids can go to the best schools. Like when I had this vision and dream, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about me, you know?
Yeah.
So it just kind of changes, you know. It's like I gotta do this because man, what else? I mean, like I said, I never had a job in my life. What am I gonna do? I gotta make this work, you know.
Exactly.
So it's like, please. I always tell, there was this Chris Rock. I remember Chris Rock had this. He he had one of his specials. He's like, I'd like to thank you all. All the money from this show is going to putting two little black girls through private school. So I use that all the time. I'm like, thank you everybody for tonight. I just want to let you know, everything
Yep.
you do tonight is buy a T-shirt. It's going towards, putting two little white girls through private school.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it's so funny. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it changes everything, man. Heightens it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I did want to ask you about some of your songs that are out currently. And
yeah.
the one that I think I liked the best was Mountain Man. I was
Oh
I
my
was
gosh,
watching
I
that
didn't
and
even know that was out. Still, that's out.
yes,
Oh
I
my
saw
goodness.
the video. And what I loved about it was it was kind of like you were at the point of view of a crossroad of a relationship. Like, is this going to
Mm.
continue? And it was almost like it's up to her. Is it? So I kind of wanted to ask how that song came about.
Oh, it's hard to love a rambling man. Girl, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Stay with me if you can. But I understand. If I'm not your mountain man.
That's amazing. That's a great question. First of all, I took down like 99% of everything we had to put the focus on since I signed with my label on everything coming out. So like, you know, I was kind of hoping that Bad Picker was the only one that was out and all the old stuff was gone because everything up to this point has just been like these experiments. Like
Yep.
I got a dude who's got a little studio in his place. We got a little bit of money. Like, oh, I got this song. Like, let's try this. Nothing was ever like the thing that I thought was gonna be like the thing. It's just a bunch. It's like one demo after another trying to find it. But that song in particular, is a lot of people's favorites. And you know, the point when I wrote that was I. It's so funny 'cause as I'm writing it, the idea is like I was the mountain, right? I'm the
Okay.
mountain, man, like, but we're climbing. Like the relationship is like a climb, right? This thing that you're going through. And I was describing, mountains in Montana. There's the tree line, where the trees don't grow anymore after that, you know, because it's too high.
Yeah.
Like all these little things. That's so far. It's been a long time since I thought about that song, but like I just used that metaphor, and then as I'm writing it, I realized that I'm not the mountain. She's the mountain.
Okay.
She and like that was a huge thing for me, at that time to realize like, wow, she's the thing. And so again, it's just a an ode to Montana. I know those mountains like the back of my hand, and just like going up through when I was thinking about each level of it and this relationship I was in at the time, um, it just kind of all came out, and these melodies are in my head all the time, and that's just kind of how it happened. It's a lot different. Songwriting's so funny. That was at a point in time where I was really learning uh, the what it takes, to write great songs,
Sure.
and I knew that I could write, but that's really the time where I started building that muscle and learning to get out of my own way and learning that there you have to have your antenna up and just be so open that you just hope that you're so in tune that those whatever all those songs that are up here come through to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell people, man. It's not when you write a jam, if it's really good, it's not you that writes that.
Yeah.
You just are a vessel for that. If you really know what you're doing, you realize that
Yeah.
it's not you. The ones that you think you're writing probably aren't that good. Maybe it might be a ringtone or it might be whatever. But the ones that really hit people is like that. So that's cool, man, that you brought that up. I didn't even know that was still around.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I like how that kind of goes back to what you were just saying not too long ago of learning that it's not about yourself, that there's
Yes.
something bigger than just us as an individual.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's just when I realized that all that stuff, that whole thing, when you realize that it's not about you, everything changes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it releases you to kind of unburden yourself and actually be more thankful because it's like you're not responsible for everything
Right. Yeah, well, that's always going to be a problem.
then.
You know, you control what you can control, baby.
Yep.
That's a let go and let God thing. I mean, that's going to be a thing forever, you
Yep.
know. So, we're constantly learning and constantly putting in use all these Tony Robbins sayings that we hear all the
Yeah, absolutely.
time. Yeah.
And you had mentioned Bad Picker, which is, of course, one that you just came out with a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to that, I couldn't help but think, man, there was a lot of Marty Stewart sound to that. As I
Ooh.
was
Oh
listening, I
my
was like, that
gosh.
was pretty cool.
Man, well, I cannot believe I love him. And I did not know that, but that's amazing. Yeah, I mean that was just, this Bad Picker is like just like the uh my manager calls it the sandbagger. We were just like putting it out there, knowing that it's like, it's not gonna it's just like a giveaway to get going, get people listening, um, and let everybody know, look, there's an album coming and it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing. And but the whole album is very autobiographical, you know,
Okay.
and it's every song on there was like, I wanted to, I don't know, it just kind of came out. All the songs were written in a very short amount of time, a long time ago.
Okay.
And
So
it's
you've been
taken a
sitting on him
while.
for a
Oh,
while.
I've been sitting on this album forever, but it's just like, going through all the business stuff to get it
Yeah.
outright and do the thing is a whole thing. But Bad Picker, I've always heard the term, I've used it, never really thought about it until one day I met my security guy, his wife, he's like my best friend, and his wife, and she's like, man, you just got a bad picker. And I don't know why that day of all days it hit me. I went straight to the studio, wrote that song. I had the whole thing in my head, and it came out, and I just knew it was like a great country radio down the middle,
Absolutely.
song, and just fun, and just kind of a cool, like, a funny way to look at things, and everybody can relate in some way or another, and it's just really just an intro to, like, look, man, everybody start listening because the next one's gonna be amazing. We got the next single comes out February 20th,
Okay.
and it's called "Drink with Your Name on It." You're the first to hear that, I think. And
Exclusive here, folks.
yeah, yeah, and it's just like, we're trying to do this waterfall effect where we're just kind of like, giving one at a time,
Yeah.
leading up to the release of the album in May,
Okay.
and it's just one, just gets better and better and better, and they're just it's just all things that I've at least experienced in one way or another. And
Yeah.
so Bad Picker is like, the first one where I'm like, okay, look, I've done all these cool little experiments along the way. I'm just gonna hone it in, let everybody know I'm country as heck. This is what we're doing. Don't put me in a box. I'm country. This ain't bro country. This ain't pop country. This ain't
This is
outlaw
real
country.
country.
This just me, like, so I try to do something that was just something that nobody could, how everybody is, they're trying to stick you in
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So I try to do like something just like, look, man, this is who I am, but I'm gonna get more as the albums start coming, get more to showing people other sides of me that are very real, very authentic. Um, but I didn't want to scare anybody with this album. So that's where we're kind of bad pickers, the first one to kind of
Sure.
just throw out there. Yeah.
Another year gone by, another love done come and gone. Broken heart in my hand, trying to find all I can. You got a bad picker, pull that trigger one too many times. I cook, I clean, all the things that keep 'em warm at night. Flowers I gave 'em, sure can't pick 'em. Why they gotta be so mean?
Very cool. And I'll be sure to let you guys know as he's releasing more. And then with the album, of course, coming out in May. I like that way of releasing an album because it's almost like if you put everything out at once, people are like, this is awesome. And then
Right.
they forget and move on to something else. This way you keep them coming
Right.
back. I like that.
Right. Right. Well, as impatient as I am, I'm just like, look, man, I got this shot. I finally got a label that gets it, and
Is that Epiphonic?
yes,
Okay.
when they found me, I was like, and when they came at me and they realized they went through my catalog, they did something that nobody else has done, and really like went through and found it like the old school way, and they understood like why I don't have the Spotify and the social media numbers. They
Yeah.
realized that and they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy once people find out, and they get the whole thing. So between that and this team now that I've put together, it's all kind of, again, it's like the timing's just been amazing. And as annoyed as it's been to take this long, it's not like I've been sitting around doing nothing. I have been like killing it for all this time, but just not at the doing the goal,
Sure.
right? So now that I have all this together and it's honed in and it's I know exactly, how to have myself be, out there and be myself, um I couldn't be happier with the timing of the whole thing. So yeah,
Absolutely.
when May hits, man, when that album comes, it's on.
Heck
And
yeah.
I, everybody around our situation truly unbiasedly believe that it could be up for album of the year. And
Nice.
I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Nice. And it's awesome to find a label that lets you be you as an artist, doesn't try to change you to fit, the cookie cutter radio.
Right, right.
That's
Even though
kind
they
of rare
did,
anymore to find that.
well, they did ask for all radio hits,
Well, they want to make
So
money. I mean,
so I said, okay, man, that's what I'm gonna do because I know how to do that.
yeah,
But I also know how to, personally, my thing is like, I know how to push the culture a little bit. And
yeah,
if I always had a vehicle that I knew the whole world would hear and it would get pushed, I would have been doing some, and if you looked back at all the stuff I've taken down, you can see the years that I was putting out stuff that was 10 years before it was cool in country.
yeah,
So like I am excited to help do my part to push the culture a little bit and push the envelope. But that's the thing with me is that if I'm doing it, it's country,
right.
but it just might appeal to, you know, somebody from somewhere that's not country. And that's the thing I hear at my shows every single night. I hate country, but I love this. I was not a country fan till now.
Yeah,
But that's because at my shows, I can make the dude from Compton and the dude from Iowa both feel like we grew up together, you
exactly.
know? And basketball has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
It really does because it's who I am. I know him, I know her, you know. I've just life has made it so like I can see you, and
yeah,
I'm not trying to be something I'm not. So, I'm thankful that the timing has come and the label gets that. They have helped me very much so um, hone in like a certain idea for this album though, which sometimes for me is hard to do. I'm trying to go, oh, we can do this, this. They were like, no, 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 stay here,
yeah.
you know.
So they help you focus on,
Yeah, for this one. Like
yeah,
the next one, we'll let you do a little bit more. Like I'll be like, yo, this song needs to come out today, or else it's not gonna be hot, you know, a couple years from now, you
yeah,
know. But they're like, no, no, not yet. Like, maybe we'll let you do a little bit of that next time. And like the third album, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of like that. And so I do appreciate that they've done that because it is smart and it has turned out to be, like an all-time thing that I think will stand the test of time.
sure. And you've
Yeah.
mentioned being a basketball player a number of times, and I found that a lot of artists that have been successful, they were athletes in high school, even into
Yeah.
college. And you said that I believe you said you did some professional basketball.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
kind of touched on this a little bit, but if you could go a little deeper into some of the skills and the traits that you learned in basketball that you're applying
Mhm.
now as a musician.
Well, what's funny is that like as a basketball player, I played I was an I knew I was there to entertain.
Hmm.
So I used basketball to entertain people. And that was before YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And it was very brand new. I was born in Montana, but by the time I was 5, 6 months old, my parents moved us to New York City.
Okay.
And my parents were working out there, and my uncle was very successful there, and my parents worked on Broadway, and they did all. So I grew up around this thing, but I learned how to play sports, and I learned how to play basketball in the Mecca.
Yeah.
Okay, and my ass took that to Montana, if you can believe that. So when I
That's a
went
fish out
there,
of water.
man. So when I went there, it was like I'm getting called for carrying and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, it was just like one of those things where, it was an art form. I really learned how to like I loved making the crowd. I knew how to get the crowd up, you know. I knew how to like I wanted people to leave my game with an experience.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But the other thing is all the things that come along, leadership, work ethic, um, you know, preparation,
Yeah. Teamwork.
uh, teamwork, practice. Uh, you know, that when the game's there, it's easy because if the clock's running down, it's nothing because you've practiced this 10,000 times.
Yeah. You've prepared for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I could like our worst show with me and my band is still the best show in town because because of how long we've been doing this, number
Yeah.
one, and the standard that I've had since the first day. So it's like now we could be sleeping and it's still, the preparation is there. You know what I mean? And the crowd still like feels it. It's like I just think that work ethic, that mentality, competition, um, never quitting, all that kind of stuff. Getting up. Um, I don't know, man. It's like I just think all those things uh keep you strong to be able to endure
Yeah.
how crazy this life is. I learned everything how to deal with people and girls and uh things that come at you like vices or whatever, whatever the case may be. I learned how to deal with all that and fans and this
Yeah.
playing basketball. It's like I learned all that.
Sure.
You meet and greets in basketball. You're making sure you don't get in trouble with girls, in sports because they're all trying to get you in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So like just everything. And yes, I think the music thing is even heightened. I think it makes people even crazier than sports. You know, but in doing everything I've done, I've seen the best and the worst of humanity. You
Yeah.
know, and the sport, my basketball background, sports in general, um, and being coached and looked after by people who were so amazing back when I was young.
Yeah.
I was coached by some like a coach that today he'd get arrested for coaching kids like that, you know. And thank the good Lord that I had him,
Yeah.
or else I wouldn't be as tough as I am.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to endure everything. So I just think sports are huge,
Yeah.
and obviously, everybody talks about it, but I played basketball at a very high level, and is even though I didn't keep it going, because when you play at a certain high level, it's a very small world,
Right.
and
There's
we
only
all
so many people that can do that.
yeah, and we're all connected somehow, and we all keep in touch, and
Yeah.
we all know when we see each other online why we're doing what we're doing, you
Yeah.
know, and we don't even have to see each other for years. And the minute you see each other, it's like you saw each other yesterday. You start up where you left off, and you know that everybody's out there 10 toes down doing what they're doing, and they're crushing it. And if there's a failure, they're gonna come back and they're gonna crush it again,
Exactly.
and they're taking care of their families and they're doing the thing. So just sports is just a huge deal, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you just touched on something that I think sports, one of the biggest things that I learned playing sports, and I was a football player. I wasn't great, but I
Yeah.
learned that, a loss, a failure is not the end of the world. It's actually part of success. Is you
Yes,
have to
true.
go through that, and then they're like, okay, what do I do better? What do I got to work on?
It's bigger. It's better
Yeah,
than winning. It's better
yeah,
than winning. Yeah. You gotta get your butt kicked. You gotta lose. You gotta
yep,
suck. You gotta have some dude. I'll never forget the one dude in my life that I've whooped me one on one so bad. I was 16. I remember his name. I've never been able to find him since. I don't know what happened to him. But that just getting your butt kicked, there's nothing better than that,
yeah.
you know.
And
So
you can apply that to
yeah,
anything in life. You're like, all right,
yeah,
I got knocked down. Like you said, time to get up, do it
yeah.
again,
And it's time to
do it
get more,
better.
get better. Yes, practice. Get better,
Yep,
figure it out. I've had to do everything with trial and error. Finding your voice. Getting better at and not everybody has resources. But it's just how resourceful you are, and
right.
you gotta just keep working. Uh, you know, look back at something, even though you cringe watching yourself, use it as game tape. Study people, study
Yep,
the greats, be the best you can be. Figure out how to be you. I mean, yeah, man.
absolutely.
I had a drink with your name on it. Bacardi 151 with a flame on it. They had a 40-inch screen with the game on it. Yeah, on the weekend there was only one place to go. They were the best days of our lives. We should have sipped them real slow. We shot them all back 'cause we didn't even
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about some of your influences, and you mentioned them earlier, and I see them in the background. You got Frank Sinatra in the picture in the
Oh
background.
yeah. That's my
Who,
guy, man. That's my dude.
who else are some of
Yeah.
your influences musically?
Musically, my dad's a big one. Um, uh, you know, my earliest influences in music are like Ricky Skaggs, and
Okay.
I remember my dad always played me Huey Lewis because he had the best pocket. My dad was always like, "You got the best pocket, man." Uh, you know, um, Harry Connick Jr. As a piano player, I always got compared to him. So
Yeah,
I would listen to him a lot, and
I could see that.
all the great, just the great musicians and great piano player, Jerry Lee. I remember, I'll never forget, I was like 5 years old and we were watching that Great Balls of Fire movie. And he's like, if I go to hell, I'm going there playing the piano. And I was like, that's my dude right there. But as I've gotten older and wanted to be uh, the best I could be. I've studied even more so the greatest entertainers. And knowing that like I just felt like I'm not a huge like James Brown, Prince, Michael. Um, you see what you try to find out what the little superpowers are of
Yeah,
Garth Brooks, and how can George Strait just stand there and still be such a G?
yeah.
Like yeah, all these little things, and that I've really like looked at over all these years, and there was something I was gonna say about one of them, but yeah, just tons of influences musically. My favorite I mean, people wouldn't know this. My favorite all-time group is Boys to Men. You
Okay.
know, I mean, Wanye is the only dude that's ever made me cry. I mean, the first time I saw him singing on bended knee on his knees, I was bawling like a baby. I just remember dribbling a basketball to them, like just so many things like that. And but I'm influenced by all music.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if I there's I wish I could make More Than a Feeling by Boston. I wish I could make a song like that me and my dad are driving through Glacier Park and I see my Marianne walking and the Glacier Park's there. Me and my dad are like, dude, what? Like everything like that.
Yeah.
Classic rock is huge for me. Um, just so like my influences range all around, and
Nice.
it's just about whoever I've seen. I have a art is subjective, obviously. I have things that when I see them, I realize the greatness in it, and I want like those are the things that influence me,
Sure.
and have stuck with me through all of time, and that's the thing at my show, you see all of it, you
Okay.
know because I'm free to do whatever, and my band knows me, and they know that every night's different. They got to watch me. I'm not finding them like James Brown was, but it's like that,
Yeah.
and yeah. So and if I can figure out one day how to get that all on there, it might just have to be a live album.
There you go.
But yeah, man, it's just it ranges from everything. Billy
Very
Joel.
cool.
I mean, come on, man. I go down a Billy Joel rabbit hole once a year
Yep.
and just remember like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. You know?
That's awesome. That's what people
Yeah.
always ask me what type of music I like. I'm like, good. Good.
Yes. Yeah,
It's,
good. And there's a
it,
there's a difference.
yep.
Good music is always good music.
Yep. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
And we had talked about, you're kind of a staple of country music in Vegas. And
Mm.
obviously, you've got the new album coming out in May. You've got some singles coming out before that. Is there any thought of branching out beyond Vegas, doing some
Well,
touring
yeah.
outside of Vegas?
Well, that's always just been the goal.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's the whole goal is to be on tour, forever.
Yeah.
And that's always been I've just been trying to make that happen. But along the way, I wasn't gonna um, just take anything just to go because I had such a good situation here
Yeah.
that I always had in my back pocket. So I've been blessed to make a living here doing that. And but you need the right thing and the right team and the right everything. And I mean, the kind of money that it takes to tour is, I don't know, people just have no idea. So it's just, I've just been, that is the goal, and that's the plan. And once this album comes out, the plan is that we are going to be everywhere. So wherever you're at, keep in touch. And when we're near you, I mean, we're coming. So
Heck yeah.
I just hope everybody comes, man, and really can witness this. You can escape, but you're going to get encountered as
Yeah.
well at my show for sure. Yeah.
Nice. And you talked
Yeah.
about, bringing people onto your team, people that have helped you get to where you are and moving forward. Now's maybe a good opportunity, maybe give some shout outs to some of those folks of who's been helpful to you in your musical career.
Well, first of all, I want to shout out my band who's been with me forever. Um, and they really are the best. And so I want to shout them out. I want to shout out my parents, you know, for being the coolest and always supportive. My main man Travis, who's my social media guy who makes all this
Yeah.
happen. Um, he's been a godsend. If I would have had him 10, 15 years ago, everything would be different. You
Hey,
know,
better late than never.
yeah. I mean, he was. Yeah, who knows what he was doing too? Who knows? He's probably crazy. But him, my label, Keith Keith and Tommy and my label, the fact that they're putting, everything they got into me. My guy Jerry, who's been with me by my side, looking out for me and handling stuff for me for 8 years now, and all the people that have there's so many people have fallen off. When you're chasing something, they fall off,
Yep.
and the ones that have stuck around. I got friends like my guy Sean and his family, and just people, all the fans that have stuck around, and it hasn't taken too long for them, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's some people it's taking too long for, but you realize why they were on the train anyway,
Yeah,
So this is I will say too, a beautiful thing about what I got going on is the culture that's been created around what I do. I mean, when you come to a show and if you're ever fortunate enough to be around my fan base and even afterwards at some places where there's maybe a chance to hang out, you will see like how special it is. And it's really like so magical what has been brought together from all these, million shows I've done, in this area
yeah.
and in the Southwest. And, they come from all over, and this every single year at a certain time, this huge group from England, that they come and see me, like people from all over the world.
That's awesome.
They come to Vegas to see where I'm at,
Yeah,
and who they are as people you can see. It's like they gather and it's so much love and like
yeah.
realness.
There's a
And
connection.
yeah, and they're always shocked that I'm who I am when I'm not on stage. Everybody is for some reason. I think probably the guys are probably, oh, who's this guy? Oh man, you know. But then and now we're all best friends.
Yeah,
So it's just that is a beautiful thing, and everybody that's stuck with me throughout this whole time, and so yeah, I just want to shout out everybody that's helping us now and everybody out there that's going to help us because we're scaling up, baby. We need all the help we can get.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, man, like I said, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Everything I've heard of him is amazing. So as he comes out with more, you got to check it out. I'll put all his links down below so you can find it easy. With that in mind, Sam, where can fans follow you online at?
I mean, get at me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Please get on my YouTube and subscribe and like and make sure you just check out everything. I think the greatest thing to do is go to samriddle.com, and that's kind of the hub for everything.
Okay,
Stay in touch, put your email up there, and just come along for this. And it's finally going to be shown to the world, and it's something that everybody can come to and feel comfortable and be themselves. Everybody, you're going to feel like you're part of something that you feel like you've been a part of your whole life.
nice.
So yeah, that's what I would do. Go to samriddle.com, check that out, and check out Bad Picker and everything coming out on Spotify. Spotify seems to be the only thing that anybody cares about. So go to Spotify, get a Spotify account, and just stream our stuff 1,000 times a day, and we'll be good.
Heck yeah. And
Yeah.
before we go, Sam, I got one more question for you. If there is a young kid in New York City or Montana or anywhere, what advice would you give them now as far as chasing their dream and not being afraid of taking that step?
First of all, don't take advice. But get around people that are doing what you want to do, whatever little thing that was put in you was put in there for a reason. And if you let people tell you that that's crazy or that can't be, you got to have a plan B. Plan B always becomes plan A.
Yep.
So burn the ships, baby, and go after whatever that thing is, and don't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
Do the thing and don't be afraid to make the mistakes and don't care how long it takes. You know, age is just a number. Don't let anybody tell you
Yep.
nothing. I mean, but stay in shape and stay looking good. Just in case you're new artist of the year and you're like 50 years old and you still look better than everybody.
That's right.
So yeah, just go with whatever it is you feel. Don't be scared to do it. And if you're doing something that makes you uncomfortable, you're probably doing the right thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. Sam, thank you so much again. This has been a real blessing talking with you.
Yeah, you too,
Um,
man.
absolutely. And as always, I want to thank you guys for spending this time with us. We love you all. God bless and rock on.
Yes, sir.